Good morning, friends. Thanks for stopping in. It's early. I have not gotten used to the sound of my voice being out loud today yet. I have not talked to anybody, done makeup, whatever. It's early in the day. But I wanted to bring you along and chat as I sign up for my fall master's degree courses. So let's do it. So right now I am working as a retail manager, but I am taking master's degree courses for a master's in divinity and discipleship. When I originally went to college a hot minute ago, it's been like 10 years now. That makes me feel old. I went for a youth ministry degree because I'm really passionate about helping young people form that foundation of having a relationship with Christ. And then life just kind of got crazy. I got married, I moved out, we didn't have enough money. My husband was struggling with some chronic health issues at that point, and I just kind of had to pick up and keep going, keep working my retail job, and try to do what I could. And so that led me to working in retail management, and that's what I've been doing over the last decade. But I love God. God is the most important thing in my life because, well, I feel like that's self-explanatory, but for people that don't have a relationship with God, maybe it's not. But we'll get into that later. But that's the most important thing in my life. And I wanted to find a way to still draw close to God, know Him deeper, and develop my Christian leadership skills. And so that's why I'm doing my master's degree in discipleship, which for anyone that isn't a Christian or doesn't know, discipleship is really just helping other people grow in their relationship with God. That's it. And it's such an integral part of doing church that there's a lot of churches out there that don't have a developed sense of, like, here's where we're taking people. Here's how we want people to grow. And so it's actually a really important thing to study. And so I'm really excited to be studying that subject. And it helps me grow as a disciple of Christ too, because if we're not growing as disciples ourselves, as leaders, we can't lead someone where we haven't gone. So yeah, I'm really excited to be getting my master's degree. I'm only doing one class at a time because I work full-time right now, and that's a lot. Like, honestly, I enjoy my assignments. I don't feel stressed about the work itself. It's really just, when am I going to have time to write a 15-page paper? That's really it. It's more of the time management and logistics of it rather than, the classes are hard. Give me 1 second. It's early. My nose is funky. All right. Okay, so on that note, because I'm doing the chill master's degree, I don't take classes in the summer, which my family has had some really, really crazy busy summers the last few summers. And so I feel even extra not bad about taking summers off because we have just needed that space in our lives. And honestly, this is my last summer with my kid before he starts school. And so I really want to just have that time to relax, have that time that's unstructured to just hang out with him, be his mom, and all that good stuff. And now you're probably like, won't you see your kid when he goes to school? In fact, I will barely see my kid when he starts school because I work evenings. And so I will be leaving for work most days before he's home from school, and I don't get up till about 10 o'clock because I work till midnight or later some days. So yeah, so I really am not going to see a lot of my kiddo during the week, which is, that's sad, but it's not something I can just pick up and change. I can't just be like, oh, can I have a new schedule? I'm a specific manager with a specific schedule, and that's what schedule those managers work. And when I was going for that promotion, that was the role that best fit my skill set. And so that's where I'm at. And that's okay, because honestly, I'm going to use that time to, I'm going to use that time during my week where he's at school to make sure all my homework's done, make sure all the chores are caught up, so that we can really make the most of the weekend time. And it's going to be okay. So, all right, let's get into the class sign up thing. All right. What I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is like the main topic of my internal dialogue essentially is like dealing with chronic depression, which sounds sad, but I'm pretty sure I've been dealing with that for most of my teenage adult life. But I'm really in a season of life where like things are settled enough where I'm like aware of how I'm feeling internally, versus, you know, if you're in a season of life where like everything's changing, everything's new, everything's busy, you're not going to like sit and reflect on how you feel inside as much because you've got all these other things to focus on. But, you know, life has really settled down. And so I'm starting to be aware of, you know, like in the winter, I feel really, really, really depressed. And I've always been like, oh, I just have seasonal depression. The summer will come and everything will be better. And obviously the summer has come and everything is a lot better. One moment. Summer has come and everything's a lot better. But I'm realizing that there are still days where it's like, oh, I just feel tired and cranky and I don't want to get up and I don't want to do anything. And that reminds me of how I feel in the winter when I feel really depressed. And so really, I'm just in a season of like trying to intentionally figure out like, how am I going to manage those times where I feel depressed? How am I going to make sure that those don't overtake my day or my life or my decisions? I spent a lot of the winter stress eating my way through the winter. There was a lot of snowfall. There was a lot of like stressful driving involved. There were just a lot of snowy, stuck at home days. And I stress ate a lot over the winter. I gained weight that I'm not happy with. And so really, now that I'm into summer, I'm working on being really intentional about my diet. You know, focusing on all the good fruits and veggies and things like that. I'm being intentional about my diet, but I'm also being intentional not to turn to food to cover up or fix my feelings. Because I've realized that no matter whether I'm stressed or bored or lonely or angry, or even when I'm happy, I turn to food to just cover up and add to those feelings, no matter what they are. And so I'm really in a season of, I am trying to lose that extra weight I gained, but also I'm trying to break those patterns of turning to food to distract me from how I feel. So yeah, that's been an interesting journey. That's kind of where I'm at right now with that. And then my husband and I are also just trying to self-reflect, trying to analyze how to handle our life in a way where we are happy, where we are getting the most out of it, because our life is going really, really well. God has brought us to a really awesome place of things are really settled, things are really predictable, but we both really struggle with winter. So is living in Northwest PA the best long-term decision for us? We're not sure. Last winter was like the worst winter we've had, so we're hoping that next winter is like just a normal, okay winter. And we're going to see how we deal with that. We're not moving, we're not going anywhere anytime soon, but we just like to talk about like Would we be happier if we lived somewhere warmer, where it's nicer year round and it doesn't snow? Like, would we objectively be happier with our life if we lived somewhere with no snow? Debate that in the comments. Go for it. But obviously, places in the South have higher costs of living. There are plenty of different challenges that living somewhere south would present. And we're also not prepared to move. We are in the midst of renovating a really old house that you can see behind me. It's not new construction at all. It's like 100 years old, probably more than 100 years old house. And so we've been on this journey for 5 years of slowly updating and remodeling and all this stuff. My husband has put so much work into this home. And it would also be really, really sad to just pick up and leave all of that hard work that we've done, all the work that he's done, all the money we've put into it. This is the home our child has grown up in his whole life. So those are just things that we talk about ever so often. We're absolutely not doing anything. We're not planning any big life changes right now. We're really happy with where we are right now. But when we're talking about seasonal depression and mental health, that's just something that comes up. And really, God is in charge of where our life goes. If we stay in this same house for the next 20 years and just watch our kid grow up and go off and do what he's going to do, like, that's up to God. If God, like, specifically calls us to make a big life change and go somewhere else, that's up to God. And we know that wherever God leads us, whether it's to stay where we're at or to go somewhere new someday, that's good, that's his plan. But we can't rush that. And we can't figure it out with our own human wisdom. And we can't spend all our time worrying about, like, well, what is God going to do in, 5-10 years down the road? We got to just follow him each day. And right now, that's what we're doing. We're following him each day. We're being faithful in our home, in our marriage, in our jobs, in our family life. And that's that. Okay, so let's register for some courses. Again, we're going to do fall. So right now, I've been doing a lot of like ministry courses, and they feel so easy. Like, from an academic perspective, they've felt really unchallenging. They're very much like, read the book, talk about the book, tell me how the book applies to your everyday church. Boom. So, like, honestly, I've turned in assignments that I thought were like not super polished or could have been better organized. Like, ooh, I'm probably not going to get the best grade on this. And I get like an almost perfect A, and that feels really like out of touch to me. I know I'm a strong writer. I know I'm a strong student, but it almost feels too easy. Like, even when I throw an assignment together, I'm going to get an A. Like, I don't know what their standards are. It feels like most of the points you're getting are turning something in that's legible. I use legible in the sense of like, you can put complete sentences together. So anyway, so I'm actually going to pick my fall courses based on, I have to do 2 New Testament and 2 Old Testament classes. So pretty much for fall, I'm going to do my Old and New Testament 1 courses. And in the spring, I'm going to do my Old and New Testament 2 courses. And that should be more challenging. That's going to involve like actual exegesis of a passage. If you don't know what exegesis is, it's a fancy term for like studying a specific passage and understanding what it meant in the context that it was written, instead of us like taking our 21st century Americanized lens and projecting what we think it means on the text. And so that's how you dig into a text and understand its true meaning and not just apply your own meaning to it. That's what exegesis is. Okay, so let's get into it. Obviously, we're going to do Old Testament first. So classes start the 24th, right after my kiddo starts kindergarten. What? Crazy. All right. And go through the 16th. Oh, I don't get my birthday off this year. a lot of years, there's been like a fall break for, I guess not a lot of years. For the 8-week terms, there's always like a week in between, and that's in October. So I always have called that fall break. Fall break has usually included my birthday. It does not this year. Sad. I don't want to do homework on my birthday. That's not fun. But honestly, I'll probably be able to finish most of my homework early. So it's chill. All right. So August 24th to October 16th, Old Testament, 3 credits. Instructor not available. That's silly. Okay, no one signed up for fall yet. I'm super early, so that's probably why. Let's see how many books I need for this course. I need Handbook of the Pentateuch, which is optional. All right. Interesting. I could rent it for $20. I could buy a used version for $33. If I want a new one, it's $45. I will talk to the hubby about that because, my husband is also doing his master's degree in Christian leadership. And we're both going to Liberty University online. And he just got home. Fantastic. All right, had a nice chat with my husband. We caught up about chores and his work, and he's going to grab some milk. All right, from the store. Perks of living in a small town. We can grab milk 2 blocks away. I'm going to hit you with more perks of living in a small town throughout my videos because, yeah, we live in a small town, and it's a specific vibe. And it has specific pros and cons, and I would love to discuss that. So anyway, my husband is getting his Master's of Divinity in Christian Leadership, and he is a pastor right now. And yeah, I'll tell you more about him later. Okay, but he has like a specific site that he gets all of our books from each semester and is usually able to get discounts and like credits towards free books. So I just kind of hand him my list of books and he does his computer magic. All right, I'm gonna drink some water. This is my water cup that I avoided using for 3 years because it was gifted to me, but it was a specific popular brand, and I think trends are dumb, and so I avoided using it until the hullabaloo over such cups was over. If that is enough detail, I'm sure you can guess what kind of cup it is. But now that it's not a crazy trend, I quite enjoy drinking water from my cup. Okay. So we're registering for Old Testament. All right, nothing super crazy on this. Cool. I won't be able to see what the syllabus is until the course opens like a day before it starts. So that's fine. All right, let's find New Testament. I'm always confused when the books for the course are like optional, which like with our online program, we have access on the computer to most of the course, like the course materials, not most of it, all of the course materials. But obviously reading a book on the computer is like kind of stressful sometimes. It is easier for like writing papers because you can like just copy and paste your quotes and it like auto cites them to avoid plagiarism and all that good stuff. So you're not like retyping an entire block quote. So very helpful on that level, and page numbers and all of that, but also kind of hard. Sometimes it's just easier to flip through a physical book. Let's find New Testament. Okay. We want October 26th through December 18th. Wow, classes are running late. Usually they start a week earlier in August and are done well before Christmas, but these classes are done exactly a week before Christmas. That's like stressful. Like we're still doing homework a week before Christmas. That's like, Christmas is nuts. And I work retail, so it's extra nuts. Oh, that makes me want to just like, wow. All right, it's fine. It'll be okay. My approach to school is also that I try and get as much done ahead of time as physically possible. Like the first week of school, I go through my whole outline and I'm like, oh, okay, we all know there's going to be a big paper at the end of the 8 weeks. Let's get going on that now. Let's gather material for that as I'm like doing my other homework, all that good stuff. Let's get an outline together. So always working ahead. And I like having the space in my life to work ahead and write a paper in a relaxed vibe instead of like having to hack it out at the last minute and tell everyone to go away and ignore me. And just, no one likes that. We're getting to the end of my memory capacity on my phone. So let's get this done. Books. Nothing required. Sweet. Okay. We're done. Thanks for joining me today. And tell me your thoughts about life in the comments. Click a like, click a subscribe. And yeah, come back to this channel for more talk about school and life and parenthood and marriage and mental health and all of that under the umbrella of faith. Yeah. Have a great day, guys.